Well. Salutations, everybody. What's a crack-a-lackin' with all of you today on this fine Wednesday evening? Is it all going good? Is it all going grand? Is it all going scrumptious? Benny, it is a pleasure to have you back in Crackerland, the best land of all the crackers that there may be. And I don't know if I can abide by that statement, Duck. I mean, I think secretly we can say you were first, but I don't know. It might be fair on Betty to say so. But how are you doing today, my friend? Is it all going good with you? I see you replied back to the Discord message of me stating that all went well and all went grand. Thanks for that, Duck. However, I would prefer for the Discord to stay pinned, so don't abuse your power, you foolish fool. But I understand the wanting to gloat. So, there's that. Me, myself, I am midway through the week. It was successful today, the announcement of the Manchester United away jersey. Now, to be honest, I was expecting the black jersey to be the away jersey. I didn't think the Manchester United away jersey was going to be the jersey not using the traditional Manchester United badge. I was surprised to find out the away jersey was the simplistic devil, as opposed to the other one. I will say, and maybe this is an unpopular opinion, please critique me if you think that I am wrong. I think both the away jersey and the third kit dwarf the home jersey beyond reproach. I think they are significantly better. But, I also think that away jersey looks like a Tottenham Hotspur's jersey or a Real Madrid jersey. I don't think it looks like a Manchester United jersey. I like the white. I like the purple orientated within the white. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful jersey. But I do just think it's a bit... Is my audio not working? No, it is. Okay, cool. King, my friend, what's a crack-a-lackin' with you? Is all going good? Is all going grand? How has your life been treating you? Has the streams been going good? Have the horror games been going with great gumption and the whole lot that you've been playing? Have you been playing anything exciting in the last wee while? Let us know how all have been going with your streams, my friend. And how is your Wednesday? Duck Gaming TTV, a pleasure to have you in. What's a crack-a-lackin' with you, my friend? I must say, that AI image of that fascinating, of that young girl with the duck is gorgeous. Although the image of the Explorer ducks is even better. Even better, if I do say so myself. Ben, my friend, what's a crack-a-lackin' with you? Is all going good? Manchester United away kit looks good, 6.5 out of 10. Do you think so? I don't know. I've looking at it, I give that jersey closer to a 7. I know 6.5 and 7, there isn't that much of a difference. I do think the third kit is by far and away the nicest of the three kits. But I'm just genuinely shocked that it didn't come with an announcement of some description. If not the men, at least have had a announcement of a signing for the women, Just seems odd. It's a pleasure to hear that all's going well with you, Ben. Have you been getting up to much? I have been grand. Sound. We're hitting the gym, bought brand new attire to end up going into it. Streaming away and just enjoying it. Same vein, King. I've been going good, hitting the gym, doing well. Played a bit of Clear Obscure yesterday, which I enjoyed beyond reproach. I was tempted to do so today, but unfortunately today's stream is going to be a little bit shorter than normal. I have a hard cutoff of about 10:30 today, so we're only getting at max 2 hours. for the stream today, so we need to end up doing it. But you know yourself, we'll see what ends up happening there. Phasmo is scary. It makes me cry. Yes, but that's the joys, Duck Gaming. That's the joys of a good scary game. Now, I have the wonderful advantage when it comes down to scary games. And do you want to know what my advantage is? And I'll tell you what it is. The reason why scary games don't hit me as much as they typically do is the first thing I do. The very first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I look in the mirror. And that's what makes it good for me. That's what makes it good for me. That's how I survive. That's how I survive horror games. The first thing I do is I look in the mirror. But yeah, no, I can understand why you think it's not particularly great either. But I don't know, based on the jerseys that I've seen, which jersey in the Premier League this season is the best. I'll always have a special place in my heart for that just traditional zebra Newcastle jersey. But we'll see what ends up happening. It looks like a Spurs kit or Real Madrid kit, even though it's purple. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier on there, Ben. That's what I thought. I've been on holiday in Greece, so it's boiling. Ben, allow me to turn around and say to you, congratulations for enjoying your holiday. Congratulations for going to Greece and enjoying the Greece vibes, the Greece culture and everything with it. But for reminding me that I, due to the fact that I went to Thailand earlier on this year, I don't want to be too cheap to bother to take off time again. Allow me to tell you what you can do with the fact that you've gone on holiday. Ben, what you can do is you can...
Off is a direction you can fuck.
Joking, of course, but still. I'll see whether or not I can get into Night King and have a gawk at you playing Phasmophobia. I love, specifically with that game, the fact that it does communication properly, you know, where the voice ends up distancing through it. And I believe if you talk too loud, it brings the enemies to you as well. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I'm almost positive that was one of the improvements they done to that game. Correct me if I'm wrong, where if you are too noisy, just with your general voice and the whole lot, it'll attract the villains towards you. That Poro Sad is a gorgeous emote. I haven't seen that global Twitch emote before. That is actually gorgeous. Premier jerseys aggregate for me. No experimentation in the home kits. Normally United do a tiny bit of experimentation. We put black on the stripe or something like that. Just our last 3 years, our jerseys have been bonkersly similar. Chelsea are probably the most experimental with their jersey, even though it is just a blue. Yeah, but you don't change your home kit. Like, I understand what you're saying, but it's Premier League culture not really to change your home kit. So I understand it. Barely any variation down on the club does break from the tradition as their heritage. Yeah. I mean, the only thing United could do would do one season where they go back to the green and white. I mean, that's one way of looking at it, Benny. I do think there's a bit of understanding for traditionalism and the fact that, especially for around the world where people aren't 100% seeing everything just oh yeah, that's United type thing, you know, where just they know straight away, helps. What's these points? Duck, you're going to need to expand on what you mean by what's these points. We have 2 ducks now, so I'm going to call you Duck Gaming. You're going to need, I'm going to call you DG. DG, well, even though that's more syllables. DG, expand a bit on what you mean by what's these points, and I'll help where I can to and expand from there. If you have push to talk off, yes, but because in stream I keep it. Yeah, I understand that too, King. Especially with streaming and the whole lot, it's understandable why there'd be a bit of need to end up doing all that type of thing. But yes, that's understandable. There hasn't been anyone new modded, Katie. There have been one or two new VIPs, but other than yourself, Senior Duck, and Lord Benny the Wise, there isn't currently any other modders within our particular vicinity. But at the same point in time, how are you doing, my friend? What's a crack-a-lackin'? Is it all going good? Is it all going grand? Is it all going scrumptious for you on this Wednesday? I am now 15 minutes in. I must well talk a bit about how we've been going in the save. We have been doing grand. Our last falter was against Mallorca, which is annoying because it's our first loss to Sir Robbie Keane, the best of the Irish managers, bar myself, of course. And before that, Atletico Madrid knocked us off of the Spanish Cup quarterfinal. So the dream of the four, the dream of the quadruple is dead. But the champions of Europe are currently kicked out of the Champions League. We have advanced further than where we end up needing to go, so we're doing well in that perspective. So the trifecta is still in play. We won the Super Cup. We're in the Champions League. Now currently top, with the game in hand, of course, but currently top of La Liga. So we'll see what ends up happening there. Started raining when I entered the stream. God knew that my excellence needed an introduction, so it gave you rain. Isn't that just wonderful, Katie? You know? Although I do have a world record as most reinstated mod. Yeah, because you've been timed out a good bit. Now, how do you know that it's been 6 times that you've been reinstated as mod? Is there an actual number that lets you know that, Duck? Or how have you become aware of that statistic? I don't have the pleasure of being a mod in anyone else's chat because no one has been what's the word I'm looking for? Asinine. Yes, asinine is the word I'm looking for. Asinine enough to add me into it. So yeah, I don't know what the luxuries of being a mod is like. Anyways, as we continue forward now, we look and see our individual training. We're in good nick. Everyone is playing particularly good. God, that's a mean statement, Katie. I'll have you know, I live and breathe to give people satisfaction. That's why I go live as many days as I do. Just to satisfy you. Just to ensure that your day is a little bit brighter. Even throughout all of the rain. Even throughout all of the horrors. Even throughout all of the hardship you deal with. I go live simply to bring you a modicum of joy. You know, if they were to do a live-action Beauty and the Beast again in 20 years, I think I'd make a good Gaston. I certainly have the pomp and circumstance for it. I can't speak French for crap, though. And I also don't have any clue how to do accents, but I can act like a pompous tit. I do wish, I'd love to end up doing acting, but I would legitimately just be, like, the person that plonks himself in and is the same role every time you see him. In terms of diction and voice and all that. Until I learned how to do it. At that point in time, if you're in that trade, you'll pay someone to help you end up helping you change. I have no reason to pay to help me end up doing erudition or changes in my voice. I can just end up activating an incredibly crappy voice modulator that helps me with that. And as a result of which, by doing that, my voice changes automatically, and no one is any the wiser. It's not a voice modulator doing this at all. This is just me doing well with voice. That didn't work as well as it should have, which is odd, considering that typically works okay. I think there's only one reaction to that particular statement, Katie. And it's not off as the direction. It's not a... No, I think the only reaction to that simply is... You flipped my world upside down with that statement, Katie. You've hurt me so much that I can't think right from wrong. I need a couple of minutes to myself, just to reflect on the world and hopefully eventually get it back looking right. You know, it's just hard when everything seems so dour to look at it in any way as positive and not look at it upside down. When you have such meanities, such cruelness on display. Oh, Girona almost came back and bet Atletico. Wouldn't it have been wonderful if they did? But with that being said, how has all been going for you in the last wee bit, my friend? Have you been getting up to anything exciting in your life these days, Katie? That's funny. That's funny. Which stream is that for? Like, I'm guessing that's for this stream, which is very funny, to be honest. Considering I'm the broadcaster and that Trump's being a moderator. But interesting that could potentially be a thing. Oh, yeah, but you never go live, so it doesn't really matter. I'm the moderator for a channel that never goes live. And yet has 54 followers. I think because you have 54 followers, I think you actually now with the new decreased load have enough followers to go on for the affiliate if you wanted to do the timing. Well, it's a pleasure to hear that you're doing well anyway, Katie, because that's all you end up wanting to happen. All I ever want to hear from everyone is that things are at least going well on their side, or that coming in here brings them a modicum of satisfaction, even if it is horse malarkey of the highest degree. Because I know you don't come from my dulcet tones. I know the real reason why you end up coming. You come into this stream solely to listen to this gorgeous music in the background. Oh, it's Senior Frank. Senior Frank is hosting the Champions League draw. So, Arsenal, our former team and one of the teams that have beaten us this season, Liverpool, Manchester City, Roma, Benfica, Chelsea, and Tottenham. The fact that there are 5 English teams in the final 8 of the Champions League is a good showcase for the English Premier League, I suppose, in this particular save. 79th edition of the competition. So, let's see what ends up happening. The first crew potted out, Arsenal. I actually wouldn't mind going up against Arsenal. They're one of the stronger teams of this particular group of section. Yeah, but at the same point in time, I think it wouldn't be bad to end up getting them. AS Roma versus Arsenal. Fair enough there. Roma actually would have been the team that you want to end up getting. I mean, yeah, you know they're going to bottle the final. Yeah. Supposedly, in terms of Manchester United IRL situations, Fabrizio Romano's after releasing that Chelsea are in the front runnings for Alejandro Garnacho. I hate that with a blinding passion. I'd prefer we bench him. We bench him until 18 months before his contract goes, before selling him to Chelsea, to be honest. I don't think we should sell him to a Premier League side. But we should tell them to Chelsea if Chelsea are willing to spend 90 million quid on them. Okay. Now we find out who do we end up facing. I guarantee it's probably going to be Liverpool. Just to spite me. Just to put salt in the wound of the crew that have beaten us once this season. They're probably going to give us Liverpool again. Do I call it or do I bloody call it? That is absolutely bonkers. The one team we didn't want to face, the one team that has our number, the one team out of all of these teams, except, well, City, to be fair, are stronger than most of the other ones we faced when we faced them. But the one team that currently has our number is the one team we go up against. My former team, Mauricio Pochettino's Liverpool. A team that are bonkersly strong. Bonkersly strong. No awful lot of players that I have kept them there for, so they're doing well with them. Joaquin Williams, Salvatore Nodari, Jorginho, one of the best in the world. They bought Depato. I ended up getting Henry, Cesar Rodriguez, Joshua Moore, who's fantastic, and I'm surprised he's been played out there because he's typically a defender. Andrea Silva, Luka Vuzovic, who, to be honest, was a mistake for me signing him, but he's been doing well for them, so happy out. Samion, who I ended up signing for them before I left, and then Abdu is one that they ended up signing as well. But they're a phenomenal team, so it'll be interesting to see how things end up going against them. That'll be an interesting competition whenever that ends up happening. Oh, the semifinals were drawn as well. I didn't even see it. So, yeah, I'll worry about the semifinals if we get to it. But with that being said, we have a game to get to first. Zaragoza are well down in the league, so we should be fairly grand with who we end up putting in here. So we can go with a wee bit of a weaker back line. So we'll go with Sechi, Hines, and Zerkri there. Ardguller has a tiny bit of an injury going with him, so we'll go Edmund Adams there. Jude is still pissy, so with that being the case, we'll keep Jude on. Gay is there, and sound, but with that being the case, I think the best thing to do is put Gay on the bench and put Boston there. Justin played the last game, so we're going to bring Vinicius back on. And Marco is up front, but Enric is back and needs a bit of sharpness. So Marco has been playing well, but we're going to go with this. Warren Emery in the back here with Eduardo. I think we're going to go with Emmanuel Agate and Brim. And we're going to go with this team. Bit of a difference now, a bit weaker than what we normally would end up putting in this particular case, but we can afford it. We have the luxury against a markedly weaker team than us. So let's see how all ends up going in this particular case. We should be grand, but the first match in, we'll see how things end up going. So, team, no one's particularly whinging, which is nice to end up hearing, nice to end up seeing. And now we go in and see how things end up going. They're on a phenomenal streak of losing form. I don't know any of their players. Crack attack the future. I look at that straight after the stream. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful timed situation. It's like divine intervention that it happens sometimes. Like I sometimes think that the game under the hood isn't 100% randomly generated, and it sometimes picks the team that you've had some bad encounters with just for terrorizing you. Which the no comment. Yeah, last Spanish team carrying the flag. I don't care about it, but at the same point in time, it's a good season for us. Yeah. So they're going with the standard formation that everyone plays when they play FM. You know, your 4-2-3-1. And every mobile game you end up playing the football as well. This is the formation you go with. If you go with any other formation, typically you do worse. Although I say that, and I recently downloaded First Team Manager, which isn't that bad of a mobile game for football, but I downloaded it anyway just to have a gawk. And the formation I'm currently doing is the 4-3-3 defensive orientation, and the only reason why it's defensive orientation is because I didn't really have a choice in the matter. Oh no, I have the regular one. Yeah, the 4-3-3, where you have 4 at the back, one person in the midfield, 2 people in cam, your winger slightly up more advanced, and then 1 striker. So that's the one I'm going for on that. But yeah, this year it lets you create your own if you want to as well, which is interesting, but honestly, foolish. Yes. You don't have an image of that formation, because honestly, I'm still intrigued to see how you've that set up. Because it's the way you describe it is it's kind of like a Christmas tree. Bad that we immediately ended up having a failure. Yeah, I was going to say, immediately have a failure of a situation 2 minutes in. You could see that goal was coming, much to my chagrin. Insanely annoying. Gambino here, straight up there, and just a horrific clearance by O'Connor. Although, speaking of horrific clearances, the trailer for FM, or not FM, yes, worth the score. Nice, Brims have the score there. The trailer for EAFC 26 is... Oh, that one, yeah. But the trailer for EA FC 26 came out there today as well. And to be fair to that trailer, that game, it looks like they're actually trying to listen to people, and they're making a few tiny naggly changes that should improve things for people. And that's nice to end up seeing, because the game ends up needing it. So, like, they've done some changes that makes the goalkeepers less likely to palm the ball back out into danger. They've made the passing a wee bit more fluid. They've made the tackling a bit more dynamic and a bit more heavy. You know, bits and bobs that should end up affecting that game rather well. So maybe there's a chance, an iota, that I might end up getting EAFC 26 if it goes well. Yes, I know. I announced that I might end up doing the blood sacrifice, but at the same point in time, we might end up giving it a go depending on things go. I'm interested in it more than anything else based on what the vendor are coming out with. So it'll be nice to see. Now, we have not been performing good here today. 6 shots taken, only 2 on target with 1 goal. It depends on where you are in your save, Caleb, and it also depends on how much money you have. I recommend quite extensively Vanderson as a right back. He is surprisingly good. He's young. I believe at the start of the series, start of the game, he's about 21, 22, maybe 23-ish. We pause here for a second while we're waiting on the advertisements to finish. But he's a phenomenally good right back. And he's expensive, though, but he ends up doing that type of thing. If you're lower down, if you're a championship side, ironically, I recommend you loan out Connor Bradley from Liverpool, especially for this game, because he's young enough and he has a bit of tenacity about him where you can end up using him quite well, Caleb. Other than that, he's left back, not right back, but he can kind of sway between the 2 positions. I like Harry Amos. United end up having him. I think he plays particularly good. Willie Kamwala can do it as well. Fabio Carvalho can end up doing it as well. But in general, it's all about the pricing structure you have and what type of element you're going for and where you're going for. For the upper teams, I recommend Vanderson. Anyway, that's the key point there. I recommend Vanderson. I hope that helps, my friend. And thank you so much for the chat. And in case you don't know how to spell him, because I bought him for Liverpool, so I know that he ends up becoming good. This is Vanderson. I think he's with Morocco when you end up having the game. He's with Morocco when you end up having the game. But he's good. He's very good, to be honest. So I'd recommend him. But there are plenty of options out there. Anyway, for now, we continue on now. All seems to be going well. We're still attacking okay, but our actual concrete finishing isn't good at all. And that is incredibly unfortunate at the moment. Bad passing there by Ugarte as well, who's on a yellow card, so he might need to have to come off at half-time due to that. Maybe Foston can make some magic in the meantime. Senior up! What is a crack-a-lackin' with you? How is your Wednesday treating you? Ooh, I'm getting special treatment today. I'm Mr. Crack. It's a pleasure to have you. But I'll have you know, Mr. Crack was my grandfather's name. I'm known as Mr. Attack. I'm pulling. You can call me whatever you want, by the way. I'm only pulling the piss with you. But yeah, we've had 13 shots, 6 on target. The fact that we haven't trumped yet is astonishing. Like, we're just not performing good today. They're actually far more likely, even though they only have 2 shots. They haven't had a shot in 35 minutes. They're more likely to score than us at the moment. Especially when you've Admin Adams doing absolute travesties of shots like that. Why? Why do you have to sign up for Ticketmaster France for WWE? For Clash at the Paris? Why? Well, I'll tell you exactly why. Because Ticketmaster is an absolute travesty of a corporation that skew the crap out of the people that end up coming down to it and refuse to industrialize their actual sites to not end up being on each individual segmented situation so that everywhere has their own sites. Ticketmaster have decided to do a goddamn Amazon where they have different sites for every different region in the world instead of conglomerating them into one goddamn site. But to be honest, I understand it. It's the actual reason why they do it is for the actual flow of traffic on the site. But that's the reason. Because it's in France and there's too much traffic that would end up having it to have it conglomerated into one particular site, you need to create a Ticketmaster France account so that it ends up being conglomerated. It's a cop-out, but it's why they do it. But yeah, that's the joys there. Matty, my friend, what's a crack-a-lackin' with you? How is your Wednesday treating you? It has been some time. Is all going good? Is all going good? Is it all saucy? Have you been getting up to much yourself these days? Also, yes, sacre bleu. Sacre bleu is such a wonderful word in the French. Like, all of the other languages other than English. Now, I speak English, so obviously it's the language I hear the most, and it's the language that I have the most gumption for in the whole lot. But every other language sounds so much cooler than English. It's not even funny. It's not even funny how cool everything else sounds. Sacre bleu, just for what the hell, sounds particularly cool. But it's funny the way you end up having prejudgments about these type of situations as well, because like German as a language to me, and yes, this is probably semi-offensive, but at the same point in time, it's my actual opinion. German to me always sounds. Oh, why isn't that a goal? Always sounds. Oh, what a goal! I just complain and then I end up scoring. Obviously Twitch and FM are both trying to get me to not be controversial and not state my opinion. But no, to me, German has always sounded like an angry language, which is interesting, even though I love every bit of it and would absolutely adore to learn it. But I'm absolutely catatomically shite at languages. Also, yes, indeed, miad. Debating going to Clash or Dynamite and Collision in Glasgow. Honestly, up. I'm not a fan. And this is all I'll end up saying about it. I'm not a fan of the way that both groups are reacting at the moment. Where everything WWE is doing at the moment appears to be crap because they're annoyed at the fact that Travis Scott ended up screwing WWE, wasn't good as a particular training point of view, and as a result of which ended up ruining the end of the main event of WrestleMania, and as a result of which, salty bastards who can't recognize that the show is actually still doing well, they're just being incredibly salty, are trying to down the show. And then you have AEW, which had a phenomenal show in All In, where the heat is incredibly on it, and their fan base, as a result, thinks the best thing since sliced bread. With that being said, the atmosphere is fantastic for AEW at the moment. So, considering the cheapness of it, I'd go to both shows, both the Dynamite and Collision in Glasgow. There'll be good pro wrestling at both. There's no bad wrestlers in either company at the moment. It depends on how you feel about Naomi. As a wrestler, I'm not a fan of Naomi, but hey, she's doing good character work now, so we'll see what ends up happening there. But yeah, let's see. I haven't watched it yet. I need to. Everything's been saucy here, just more and more depressed every day. There's no United transfer news. I mean, we've signed a couple of youth players, Matty, but I understand what you mean. We signed a couple of youth players. We've done a couple of loans out. I'm more annoyed at the fact that we don't have sales more than the fact that we don't have players in. It is insanely annoying that our game versus Leeds in 3 days' time will end up happening with only Cunha as the player. And legitimately, I'm starting to think, and this is the bad version of reality, by the way, but I'm starting to think Amron mightn't make it through preseason. I'm starting to think Amron might make it through preseason, and I think, I'm hoping not. I'm hoping we see improvements. But I think if he managed to lose all of his preseason games, I think they might jump. I don't foresee us doing that. Losing all of our preseason games. But I think if he managed to lose all of his preseason games, I think they might know that the job is just too much for him and they'd sack him. Because I think the hammer is closer to his neck than people end up thinking. But I also think we're in a far better position than people end up thinking as well. So that's where it's interesting. Because I don't think we're as bad as people say we are. I hope the club backs him for his dedication to character and gumption, for not wanting to play Sancho, Rashford, and Garnacho, and Malacia. Because if he doesn't play them in any of the preseason games, it's going to lower their value. But if he does play them, he's lost out to player power. So that Leeds game will be amazingly important for us to figure out. Personally, I think during that Leeds game, Garnacho's probably going to play and Rashford are probably going to play. Off of the bench, mind you, but I think both of them are going to be on the team, personally. I don't think they should be, but I think they might be. The big thing with us is how many of the youth players end up getting through. Will the likes Diego Leon actually get play time, or will he be loaned out? Will the likes of Harry Amos become a mainstay? Will Adrian Heaven, now that his injury is back, become a mainstay? I agree, they don't. But I don't know, I have a feeling about the club at the moment where they just they're not backing him at all. They're acting like a club that don't trust him. They're acting like a club that are waiting for an excuse. Like Cunha will work with anyone. But then again, it also depends on what's being asked. Is Cunha going to be our 10 as opposed to a Cam? Is Cunha a striker as opposed to a Cam? I don't mind it if he is, but it's interesting. I just hate the other transfer speculations. Like, if we go in for Nicholas Jackson and shoot the head of every fucking person that's in charge of that, you know? Yeah, you said something there. You're trying to tell me that the Quincy shouting doesn't sound dope as F. I don't know what that is. Duck, if you have a link to that, send it to me on Discord, and I'll have a look. Yeah. I've seen the youth players, and I'm excited to see how they do in the future. They aren't guaranteed, but I've heard they're highly rated. Need some ins and outs. Would be glad with that. But that's the thing I am, and it's one of those situations too. Of if you're good enough, you're young. If you're good enough, you're old enough. So if those youth players are good enough and they can play in the positions, happy out. I don't think the possibility of us being within the top 6 next season is dead yet. Being top 4 is probably dead, but I think that would have been dead no matter what we spent. But I think we might get top 6. I also think there's quite a substantial chance we do well in the cups. And funnily enough, I think that's what matters. I think we have to become a cup team next season. Try and get 4th all we can for the Champions League football, but I think it's more important to just get European football. So if all luck's dead, I think we go for the cups. I think we just need to stick with the manager and write it out. Tired of rotation of managers. Yeah, but unfortunately it's the modern trend. Like with Chelsea ended up winning a couple of stuff and went through 12 managers in 10 years. So like, I agree with you, but it also really depends on what he starts saying during the preseason as well. Heinz, what are you doing? Like, if he just starts giving up during the preseason, then it matters a lot as to whether or not we keep him as well, you know? If he becomes a defeatist like all of the other managers, get him out the door already. Like, if he starts doing the Ten Hag situation where, oh, it's a project, 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 get out the door. Get out the fucking door. Because at least be honest. You know? We're not playing well, we need to improve. Not it's a project. We're not playing well, we need to improve. This isn't good enough. This is on the players and on me as a manager. You know? If they lose and play shite, I can see where crack is coming from. That's, like, I'm wrong. It's not going to happen. It's just I have an odd feeling that the club is trying to sink him. I then also we'll see what ends up happening, because I think Brentford are, I think we might have already signed Mbeumo, and United are waiting for Brentford to sign that player they're looking for, and it just the Brentford don't want it announced yet, because then they'll have extra money, because they're trying to sign a player at the moment for 35 million quid, but the club that they're trying to buy him off wants something like 50. Like everyone in the fucking transfer market this year, everyone wants 20 million more than what the player's actually worth. The only club that's gotten away with it, ironically enough, is Chelsea, because João Pedro is worth what they spent on him. I think there might be a situation that Brentford are now currently waiting for their signing to come in before United take Mbeumo. But we'll see. Like, I think we should be looking at other players as well as everything else, like Richard Rios or John Victor. John Victor, especially considering Onana's going to be injured for 8 weeks. You know, start making those type of decisions. Go for cheap options as well as everything. I don't think Mbeumo is the end-all be-all, so I don't actually care that much about having Mbeumo. So I'm of the opinion that if you don't sign that in the next wee bit, just finish the fucking deal. Like, just stop, leave. But hey, who really cares what I think? I mean, probably, Katie, there's quite a significant chance I'm drunk. But, like, honestly, without cell-shaded glasses off, where do you think United are going to come? So we'll see what happens with Newcastle. I think if Newcastle lose Isak, it'll be interesting to see how quickly Hugo Nteke comes off of the ground, because that's who they're supposedly buying as a replacement or in comparison with him. I think Anthony Elanga is a good player, but he's not the player that they needed, and I think it was the wrong signing for them, so we'll see what ends up happening there. I think Morgan Gibbs-White is interesting. Surprising, but interesting, and I don't know if that's still going to go ahead now that the lawsuit's being done by Nottingham Forest, but time will tell. I think the Champions League football might be a bit too much for Tottenham. Now, whether or not that'll cause an issue for them, we'll see. And we'll see how Thomas Frank does when he ends up coming into it. I think Villa are going to get ransacked, so Villa won't be in the top even 6, period. Brentford have gotten ransacked. Brighton have lost João Pedro. So I think because people are slitting the throats of the mid-table crew, I think there's a lot more bump than people think. Because an awful lot of them have gotten slit. Like Nottingham Forest have gotten slit. And they're going to continue to get slit. So Nottingham Forest are going to go down the threshold. Even with them having European football, they're going to get slit and go down the throat. Some of the regulation teams are down there as well. Like Everton are going to get slit. West Ham have already lost Kudus. So we'll see what ends up happening. It's an interesting situation where anything is the case, but I think the top four, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, and City, have strengthened themselves up a good bit. City is the interesting one, though. So City is the one I'm really interested in, because I could see City falling out of the top four. I could see City falling down as far as 7th. I don't believe that. I think they just want to unite. I think literally what they've turned around and they've said is, United, you need to give us 60 million cash. We don't care about add-ons. We want 60 million cash. You give. We don't want installments. We just want a dead hard cold cash. And if that's what they want, we should also walk away. Well, I agree with that one too. Like, preseason performances don't matter, as Mark Goldbridge pointed out a couple of times. There, you've plenty of preseason Pirlos. You have plenty of Andreas Pereiras or Jesse Lingards, people that during the preseason turn up and become absolute monsters for the preseason and only the preseason. Both of them being prime examples. I remember, 2019 maybe, Andreas Pereira, I think it was back then. Would that sound about right? Andreas Pereira, like, you'd swear the man was Cesc Fabregas. He was playing that well in preseason. Also, we deserved to be 5-1 up, but legitimately, the fact that for so much of this game we were only 2-1 up, and only 2-1 at halftime too, we had an entire half where we couldn't do anything, is astonishing, to be honest. Like, this result is right, but the actual element of how we got the result is horse manure. Oh, Brims after getting a hat-trick. Holding midfielder with a hat-trick. Isn't that what you want to see? Now, we'll see what ends up happening, too, when we get a couple of sales. Like, will... Up. There is more chance of me winning Miss Universe than that happening. And I think the only way that would end up happening is if Bayern Munich actually robbed Luis Diaz. And that's not happening either, because Liverpool turned around and said that they don't want to sell Luis Diaz, and unless they're given 100 million quid, they're not selling him. Which is absolutely hilarious, because Luis Diaz is not worth 100 million quid. Not at his age. Unless I'm getting completely messed up on what age Luis Diaz is. Like, Luis Diaz is 30, isn't he? 28. I still don't think he's worth 100 million quid. At 28, it's better. Those 2 years do matter. But, is he worth 100 million quid? I mean, the transfer market is so bloated and inflated at the moment, who the hell knows, to be honest. But I genuinely don't think so. Wouldn't you look at that? We qualified for the Champions League. But you do have to think that Liverpool are going to sell a couple of their players. Like, I know they've already gotten rid of Kuhn Lash in the Florian Wirtz deal. But, like, and I know Darwin Núñez was one of the things they were looking at. I think they were trying to get Darwin Núñez to Napoli, but Napoli are after signing someone now. So that deal seems to be dead, and Saudi Arabia seem to have gone cold on that one too, so they might be keeping Darwin Núñez for longer, but we'll see. I think once we get some sales out, more will happen, but we'll see. Well, yes. Like, don't have any disillusions, Matty. Before the end of the transfer window, United will have made 4 or 5 signings. United will have spent about 150, if not 200 million quid. We'll have done that. The problem is, we'll have paid the United tax because our dopey gobshites. Oh, we have a plan. Oh, I know. On the 14th of July, 14 days into the proper start of the transfer window, Manchester United, do you know what we'll do? We'll look for a head of recruitment. I know you signed Dan Ashworth as sporting director to do some of that stuff. Fine. But you're telling me you didn't have a principal head of fucking recruitment before the transfer window started?
What do you think?
Like, what do you say? What do you say? What do you say with that level of ineptitude? Because that's all that is. That's just complete ineptitude. To not have a head of transfers put in place before the transfer market starts. Look, here's the thing. Anthony Elanga left us and done well. Scott McTominay left us and done well. Alvaro Cavaro left us and is joining Real Madrid. I know you have the likes of Ekbel and others that have been doing well. I know that the goalkeeper that we sold and went to Bayern Leverkusen as well. I think it was Bayern Leverkusen that he went to, but the goalkeeper that we sold is doing well as well. United have a good record of having players do well once they leave United. I legitimately think it's the pressure pot of Old Trafford that causes the people in United not to do well, because people aren't able to handle the stress and the media literacy that's being put into place, and the actual you're dead if you don't perform. Kovac, that's it. The actual, pressure pot that United is, because it is like a swamp, Old Trafford, when you're not performing good, because the United fans will let you know when you're not performing good. And then what's worse about that is everyone fucking talks about you. So there's an immense amount of pressure on it. I genuinely think we are significantly better, and I said this since last season, we are significantly better than the way that we've been playing. An awful lot of that has to do with the fact that Ruben came in and the system just didn't fucking work. It will work, but it just didn't last season. I think there's an awful lot of teams that'll happily take them. Like Garnacho, people will happily take him. Rashford, they'll happily take them. The big thing with us isn't the fact that people will take them. It's the fact that people won't pay for them. They won't pay for the wages. Now, I'd still go and get someone like Osman and break the fucking wage cap again. I'd go on and give Osman 300k. I'd give it to him for 1 year. I turn around and says, we're going to give it 300k for 1 year. If you don't get us into Champions League football, then we'll give you a 35 million quid release clause. Leave the fucking club if you want to. I'd do that. Give him the stupid wage, we get him out the door. Do that type of crap. And tell him that he has to get out of the club, or otherwise he decreases his wage by half. If you could do deals like that. As for Ineos, they're shit at communicating. Which isn't surprising, because Jim Radcliffe has always been crap at communicating. They're slow. But to be fair, Glazers wore 2, so you don't know how much of that interlies with itself. And they're known liars. Because we know for a fact United weren't going to run out of money. And that's Jim being cheap. I think they are in there to not give a crap about United. I think they're there to ensure the stadium deal happens, build the stadium, get Manchester United and the stadium itself into a multi-conglomerate area of England that'll be used for concerts and activities outside of the football realm streams like the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is meant to be done for. Make it into a centre of excellence, make it into the Wembley of Manchester. And when they do that, they'll sell the club for 3 times what it's worth now. I think that's what they're doing. But that's the cynic in me. What about yourself, Matty? What do you think of Ineos? I don't care about them that much. God, I hate bots. I absolutely hate bots. Exactly what do you think is gambling on that, by the way, up? The only thing they need to do in order to ensure that that plan works for them is that United don't get relegated. That's it. As long as they don't get relegated, United will make enough money over the next 10 years to fund any of the preceding situations to run the club and end up making enough money in order for the fact that they will end up being allowed to build the stadium. Once they build the stadium, the price of that club goes up exponentially. You think it was a lie when they said they were going bankrupt by December? Yes, I think Jim Ratcliffe was lying when he said they were going bankrupt by December. The reason why I think they were lying when Jim Ratcliffe said they were going bankrupt in December is because they spent 150 million quid 3 months beforehand. There isn't a goddamn chance in mother effing hell they would have spent 150 million quid not knowing they were getting it. So I'm not denying that they would have gone bankrupt if Jim Ratcliffe hadn't come in, because they spent 150 million quid in the summer. I'm denying that he's the reason they didn't go bankrupt, because they would have done something else. They would have had to have taken their finger out of their arse and they would have sold someone. Like maybe, for example, Bruno. And even at that, I don't 100% believe that that's an issue now, because we still don't have any money and they didn't sell Bruno. So, you know, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think it was hyperbole and a way to try and disillude people to believe that the United tax isn't a thing because we don't have the money to spend on people. I think that was a daft idea to try and lower down the expectations of the fans and opposing clubs so that United might end up getting cheaper deals. The stadium goes through, they can pay for it. Performances and results improve. They aren't hounded at by then. I mean, yes, but they also don't care because they'll have sold the club by then. Up. Or again, that could be me just being ultra cynical. I definitely agree with everything you said about them. I couldn't have said it better. I wish we had Qatar Saudi because Glazers would have been gone and I think we would have been better situation. We would never know. I mean, we don't know either. Chelsea are working out now because they're throwing so much fecal exchange. Well, I'll say this in a minute because you got your ads. I don't know if you're back. Yes. Oh, Doc, yes. So Sheikh Shazim and his father were principal leading contractors of the Saudi investment fund. That Saudi investment fund had $4.3 trillion in it. Like, they are, I think, the Saudi conglomeration that they were responsible for is the 15th or 16th richest conglomerate in the world. Look, there's a difference because it doesn't matter. It genuinely doesn't matter because United have lineage behind them. People turn around and say you wouldn't want to become a City soulless club. The problem is if City continued without the cheating situations coming up, and they're probably going to get by that, so it won't matter. City will become a proud club, not with the soul, within the next 30 years because the youth of today grew up watching City, and they will then have their children grow up watching City. The reason why United holds a place in so many people's hearts is because they're almost 100 years old. It's because of the situation that's ended up happening with the likes of the Bugby Babes and the amount of wins we ended up having and the class of 99 and everything about it, and Sir Alex Ferguson and everything came to it. We have history, we have lineage, we have the whole lot about it. You don't erase that with the Qatari ownership. If anything, all of that was erased the minute we were sold to the millionaires of the Glazers, because we've already done it. Like, United was sold in profit, by the way. We weren't in the red when we sold to the Glazers. In profit to the richest bidder. We were sold to the richest bidder. We were sold to the Glazers, who were the richest bidder at the time. So, technically speaking, we had already become soulless. So, you know. There's no difference between the Glazers and Saudi. Like, I know what an awful lot of people were worried about is that if the Saudi Arabians ended up taking it, that they'd end up abolishing the women's team, but they'd already promised they wouldn't do that. So I don't get what the worry was, you know? Now, I also realise that that means diddly, 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 diddly squat. Because once you take power, you can just decide to just go and get rid of it. But you know yourself, you know? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, United's women's team is one of the best teams in England. Weren't we something like 3rd or 4th last season? Let me check. I thought we had done surprisingly well last season. Why is this so annoyingly hard to find? I hate looking for previous Premier League results. Bear with me a second, I'm still looking for it. I've gone onto the Premier League site now itself. Thank you for bringing up that order of EAFC. Something wrong, because of course there's something wrong. You useless sacks of Yankee-danky doodle shite. They were formed in... Technically speaking, we've had a women's team since the men's team was formed, but you're not wrong. They've been around properly since 2018. In terms of where they were third. Yeah, they were third in the Women's Super League. Last year, I think. Yeah, third. So they got third. So, like, they're not bad. You know, so. I think Qatari would have ran the club better than the Glazers. Well, yes. Yeah. But we don't know that either. Like, you don't know. You all you can do in that situation is hope. You hope the Qataris would have ran the club better than the Glazers. There's no way to know. Like, there's no guarantee, there's no confirmation of how they would have ran the club, which is sad in of itself, but the actual truth. There's no way of getting confirmation of how the club would have ended up working there, you know? But at the end of the day, you just continue with what you do and you go down that way. Like, you hope that things will end up coming good. There's still a chance Amarin will end up forming it together. We'll end up getting an adhesive situation and knowing how things end up going. Who knows? The inclusion of Harry Amas into the main team now will allow Patrick Dogu to end and Luke Shaw to actually end up doing things to it. The fact that Casemiro is now lean and looks like he's actually willing to fight and looks like in the final year of his contract he's going to give a fighting chance to United looks good. Maybe Emmanuel Agati will come in and do well. Maybe Mason Mount will stay fit and be a linchpin in the middle of that field there and actually do something well. Maybe Rasmus Højlund will end up scoring stuff there, and maybe Xerxes will end up doing well. Xerxes was training with who was he training with? Xerxes was training with someone in Italy, I can't remember who, and looked sharp while doing it. Like, we don't know. We don't know how these players are going to do. I think there's players in all of them players. Genuinely, I think there's a player in Erasmus. I've said this for a long time. I thought one of the major problems with Rasmus was the fact that people weren't passing to him. I think Garnacho hated him and refused to pass to him. I think Rashford had a similar problem to him, but I genuinely think he was slow, he was in the wrong position, but he also wasn't being passed to. I think Xerxes can play as a 10, and if you don't get Mbuemu, you can just put Xerxes there for now and see how that ends up going, but he can also play as a striker. Manu looking bigger is good as well, because he actually, because that was one of Manu's big problems, was that he got bounced around a bit. I think that was Garnacho's big problem, so we'll end up seeing what happens there. Martinez is back. Lenny Yoro looks good, and Adrian Heaven will be back. So we'll see. There's plenty of potentialities that make it better than we think. So time will tell how all is going to be going, you know? So we'll see. There's a better chance of your next stream taking place from Mars than Mount having a good season. I don't get why you hate Mount so much. I don't see it. I don't see why you hate Mount so much. I genuinely, and I've said this before, I've talked about it before, we've been on the streams when I've done a couple of the watch-alongs. I think there's a player in Mount. I genuinely don't think he was 100% fit towards the end of the season there. I think he has great hold-up play. I think he has great connective play. I think he can play very, very well. Do I think he's the answer? At this point, no, you should probably end up selling him. But I think there's a player in Mount. I don't think he was as bad, or even, I don't think, not that he even was as bad. I don't think he was bad in the games that people were shouting out at the last game of the season. And everyone played crap in the final. Everyone played crap in the final. So, you know, like, he's won Premier League Player of the Year and won the Premier League Player of the Year for Chelsea twice. So there's a player in him. It's just whether or not United can get it out of him. Lenny Moon and Manu train together. Excited about having Martinez back. I do too. Honestly, that's kind of why I wanted Bruno to go, because I think Martinez would have made a good captain. But we'll see what ends up happening. And like, Maguire is back as well and looks to be sharp as well, you know? But we'll see what ends up happening. Like, time will end up telling what happens with everyone. Like, we played good in the Europa League. We showcased in Europe what we can end up doing. We know Amarin's system works when the pace is a little slower. And what does that tell you when it works when the pace is a little slower? It tells you the players weren't fit enough. That's what it tells you. It tells you the players weren't fit enough. The fact that we see players coming back now in pre-season leaner, the fact that we see players coming back now fitter, means that hopefully over this training period of time and over the next training period of time over the preseason, everyone has gotten fitter to the point of the explosive fitness that he needs. Because you need that explosiveness that ends up coming down to it. The reason why United were able to smother people in the Europa League is because A, it was the Europa League. Let's not forget, it was the fucking Europa League. We should have. And B, it was slower. So, if we can end up matching the speed of the Premier League and still smother people, Bob's your uncle happy out, it'll work. Are they fit enough to do that? Are they strong enough to do that? We'll see. You know a player I would... by the way, I know the hate I'm going to get for this. Do you know a player I would have loved to have had for Amarin in this system? Because I genuinely think for the way that his system plays, he would have worked phenomenally well for them. I would have loved to have had Lukaku. How have we not scored? Thank you, William, for absolutely ricocheting that off of your own bloody colleague. I mean, you said that up, but I don't think it's possible. For a number of reasons. It's one of those situations of I don't think United would sell to Liverpool. Or vice versa. And second of all, I don't think Liverpool would be looking at Rashford unless they were unless they were guaranteeing Luis Diaz was leaving. And I don't think they're going to sell Luis Diaz because I don't think Bayern Munich are going to give them a high enough offer. So I don't believe it. I don't believe it. If it happens, fair play to them. Go on, take him. Happy out. We'll see. I didn't want him, Matty. I didn't want Lukaku when we had him. But I was never a hater of him. I always thought he had good ability. I do think one of the problems that happened when he was with United is that he went too extreme on the bulk. Like, the best... I'll give you exactly what Lukaku was for United. And for those of you that get this reference, fair play to you when I show you the image of it. I just want to make sure that I can do this correctly, so bear with me now. So we go to... I have too many scenes. Find my Football Manager 1. There's my Football Manager 1. Then we go that. Cool. So I go with this. Bear with me now, guys. So, when we had Lukaku, God damn it, come on. Yeah. So when we had Lukaku, pain in the other arse. Yeah. When we had Lukaku was effectively this. Yeah, when we had Lukaku was effectively this. Not Aquafina. He was effectively absolute Batman. Just a shit brick house willing to kill everything that was in his waypoint. He was bald Wayne Rooney. When we had Lukaku, he was built like a shit brick house willing to kill absolutely everybody in his vicinity. Hilarious and beautiful to see, but he was a unit. An absolute unit. Yeah, that was Lukaku when we had him. He was just a gargantuan monster. And I question anyone to end up saying otherwise. I don't even think it was that bad, to be honest. Like, in the season that he left us, he had something like 18 goal contributions. Like, he was still scoring for us when we left him. He just had lowered down because the Premier League was so fast you needed more speed. And that was the start of us having wingers that didn't bloody wing. We still don't have wingers. What a goal by Marco! Does that count? Ah, that's unfortunate. I mean, to be honest, like, he wasn't... Oh, god damn it, he was miles offside. I mean, to be honest, he's not a bad player. Even now, when he's still playing now, Lukaku's not a bad player. He just was too big for the speed of the Premier League. That was his big problem. He just got too big. Mourinho let him get too big. Now, whether you can blame that on Mourinho or blame that on his physical staff or blame that on the United medical staff themselves, who knows? But, like, and the supposed rumours that he was on the juice. But, like, I didn't mind Lukaku. God damn it. What is happening with us? Holy crap! Okay, we have to make some changes. What the hell is happening here? So Sechi's coming off anyway for Burke. That's effectively our strongest back line. William is coming off for Vinicius. Laffy is coming off for Eduardo, and let's go with that and hope we get something out of this, because that's atrocious. That's genuinely atrocious. I hate doing subs this early in the game, but, like, we're performing absolutely diabolical. Fecal Exchange would perform better than this. Like, 13 shots and not a single... 13 shots, 7 on target, not a single goal to be seen. Like, the good thing is, this will probably turn out like the last game, where we're just, for some reason, being really slow to start off, and we'll end up scoring 5 goals in the second half. But at the same point, not if that happens! What the hell? Like, holy crap. Vinny, take your time and... Ugh. So, well, at least we're starting to come back into it. If I was to say it right here and now, give us a second. Give us a second, my friend. Yeah, that is that. So if I was to say it right here and now, I think we would... And I'm going to butcher the spelling of these, but... Belinder in goal. Then we'll go Lenny. Harry. And Martinez. We'll go Ahmad. and Dogu. We'll go Ugarte, Bruno. We'll go Cunha. As things stands, actually, you're right. I forgot about that. You're dead right about that. You're dead right about that because I forgot that De Ligt isn't injured. Yeah. As it stands, if we go with the signings that we currently have, that's the team we're going to end up having. Belinder in goal or Tom Heaton. That's a flip of a fucking coin. Belinder, Tom Heaton, Belinder, Lenny, De Ligt, Martinez, Ahmad, Dogu, Gate, Bruno, Cunha, Mount, and Xerxes. Easily, it could be. Easily, it could be that. What do I think is going to end up happening in between then? I'm hoping that this changes to Leon. We'll find out when he ends up coming in. Based on how they played towards the end of the season, as mean as this is, and we'll see, I'm hoping that's that. I don't see it happening, but and I think I think more than likely that's probably what the squad is going to be. Now I know people are thinking that'll end up happening. I don't think there's a single solitary chance of that happening. So if I was a betting man, I'd say more than likely, if we got the signings that we wanted, that's what I want. That's what I'd love for it to be. But I genuinely think it's going to be that. With the big changes being Tom Heaton, with the big ups, depending on how preseason going, being Tom Heaton for Belinder and Manu for Xerxes. The Xerxes might be up front, you know? So we'll see. We'll see. But that's my opinion at the moment is what it's going to be. If I was a betting man. What do you think? Do you think I'm Delulu, or do you think there's any logic behind what I was stating there? I think if he manages to survive the summer transfer market, I think Højlund is going to have a great season this season. If he survives the summer transfer market, I think he's going to have a great season this season, because I think we're going to sign players that'll actually pass the fucking ball to him. Honestly, I think because we're finally going to have players that'll pass the goddamn ball to him, then we'll see what ends up happening. I do think his confidence is shot and he needs a wee bit of help with that. I'd be putting him on every penalty I could in order to just start raking in goals, because once a striker, as was said multiple times with Wayne Rooney, once you start scoring, you don't stop. I think... Nice, Marco. Beautiful. I think he was asked to do more stuff than was fair of him towards the end of the season. I didn't like at all towards the end of the season for United that Mason Mount was always in front of the striker. I hated that with a passion, that one of the cams was always in front of the goddamn striker. I hated it. The striker should always be in front of the cams. I know that he was basically playing like Harry Kane, but he's not fucking Harry Kane. And that's what I'm talking about, where I think the fitness will come into play. Because I don't have a clue what the sports and physio teams have ended up doing, but Rasmus has explosiveness. He needs to bloody use it, and that's one of the things he didn't use. He didn't use his explosiveness well enough. He didn't use it in the right particular situation. He didn't know when to start. He wasn't sure that the ball was going to come to him if he did do the explosiveness. And the problem with Rasmus is Rasmus needs to know that he can just explode. Because if Rasmus explodes, he's not getting back. So effectively, you're one man down on the cover. So if he explodes to catch a ball, that means that one of the offensive units of the counterattack is free, and there's nothing that can be done about it. He's always going to be free. So he needs to know that the ball is coming to him, in my opinion. Jesus, we have 22 shots and 12 on target. How have we not more goals? Well, there we go. Bitch, and it happens. That's what we needed. But what do you think, Maddie? Do you think I'm Delulu? Do you think I have some right capabilities about me? I think United are in a far better position than people end up expecting for them. I think the most dangerous... Torres going to score that. Okay, thank God. I think the most dangerous team at the moment isn't Liverpool. I think the most dangerous team at the moment is Chelsea. I think if Chelsea get a goalkeeper, to me, and yes, this is gold-tinted glasses, to me, they're the front runners to win the league. Sad thing is, I don't think they're going to get a goalkeeper. But that's me. Okay, ads are oh no, they're not starting yet. Happy out, Duck. Congratulations. Conceded 3 in 9 games. With the as you colloquially called it, the butt plug tactic, is it? I mean, it is quite defensive. It is effectively a back 6. So I suppose that makes sense. Marco's finally scoring again. For someone that spent the first 12 games of this season with no goals, it's beautiful to see him actually scoring again.
Farewell, sweet cookie cats. I'll always remember the time we spent together.
Hat trick for Marco! Oh! No. Yeah, Chelsea looks strong. I think United will do better than some think. That only time will tell. Oh yeah, the really funny thing for me about the United stuff is United are going to get relegated. Anyone that thinks that is daft. Genuinely, anyone who thinks that needs to have their head examined. We're not that bad of a team, and even with the way that we are, we're still not worse than the teams that are coming up. I do find it really funny that some people are under the opinion that Sunderland are going to have a worse season than Southampton had this season. Okay, I'll be back in 1 second since the ad is going on, so I'll chat to you in a second, Matty. Coolabilla. So yes, yeah, I think it's really funny. People turn around saying that relegation is on the cards for United because, like, there are far worse teams than us, and with the way some teams are getting gutted, we'll see what ends up happening there as well. But one of the ones that I really find funny is the Sunderland situation. Why people think Sunderland are going to do worse than Southampton this year. Like, Sunderland have already spent the guts of 100 million quid on players. They're all AFCON players for some daft reason in an AFCON season. But so long as they can survive that 1 to 5 games with some players potentially missing, I think Sunderland are going to do really well. I think Sunderland might end up causing a split in the differential of the Premier League and being the first team in a while not to go down after coming up. Anyways, as I said at the start there, now I didn't expect Vigo to score a second goal. This was going to be one of those games where we probably scored 5 goals in the second half. So 5 goals were scored in the second half. Well, 1 was scored in the first half by Edmund Adams, but still. Might get 6. We're going to get 6. We got 6! You still stress so much over when the game ends up giving you absolute fecal matter, but you still end up winning at such a wide margin that you probably should never have worried. Like, we've scored 4 goals in 10 minutes. Now, to be fair, we are an insanely attacking side, and I do have it set to attacking, but, like, we scored 4 goals in 10 minutes, so... Well, 3 goals in 10 minutes. Anyways, good result for us there. Again, middle of the road team, so you'd expect it, to be honest. But with that being said, 29 games in, 107 goal difference with 82. We have a game in hand, which means Barcelona lost or drew somewhere. I'm just a wizard, Matty. A wizard, I tell you. I should have been cast as Hagrid, not Nicholas Fault. I'm just a wizard. I mean, it helps that this is just one of the best teams in the world, by the way. In terms of the players that we have and the whole lot. But yes, no, I just have a really good formation. Like, we're just doing the overlaps there, passing into space, playing out from the defense. Making sure that the counter is being done well. High press and prevent the goalkeeper's distribution. But the main thing is just make sure that everyone tackles harder. I think that's one of the main things in this game that gets diluted a lot, is the fact that you lose the ball a significant amount. So you just need to clotter the feckers 10 ways to Sunday until you get the ball back. Are you laughing at the fact that I'm saying that I should have been Hagrid? Is it, Maddie? You know as well as I do I should have been. Anyways, I am really intrigued, come that Leeds game, how much of a difference Cunha makes. However, I am also intrigued as to... Bitch, I'm beautiful. I'll have you know I would make a wonderful Hermione. But I am also intrigued whether or not, because I think there's a substantial chance that in that Leeds game, Cunha starts where Rasmus and Xerxes would start. I think Cunha might start as the striker, not as the 10. And I'll hate every moment of it when it happens. But I genuinely think there's a chance that might end up happening. Well, it's in America. So I think I'm almost positive that Leeds game is in America. Or is that a game before they leave? Let me see. Does it say if I because this should end up having it up when the game is, so United versus Leeds, 2 p.m. No, so it isn't 2 p.m. on Saturday. Daniel Falk versus Ruben Amram. Doesn't actually say where they are either. Leeds are in a 5-game winning streak, by the way, which is hilarious as well. In our last meetings, United have beaten Leeds 4 out of the last 5 times we've met each other. It says Martinez is still out with an injury based on this thing, but this hasn't been updated anyway. Euro is still out with his foot injury. De Ligt is supposedly still out with his hamstring injury. Sam Greenwood is out. But we'll see. We'll see who plays. It'll be interesting anyways. That's all I know. I might look at it if it isn't that hard to get. Oh, Christ. That's bad. In Brazil, too, while on international duty. Of course he gets injured while on international duty. Why wouldn't it happen there? Why wouldn't he get injured on international duty? I think that means we're going to miss him for the Champions League final. Thank God we bought Justin. I hope he comes back before the final. That is, if we make it to the final. We're against Liverpool. Liverpool are a very strong team. I would have liked to have had my strongest bloody defender for our midfielder for winger. Crikey crack words. Winger for that game. Oh yeah, Jordy is there as well. Quinn Lash is one of those players that hasn't 100% exceeded to the way that I wanted him to, even though his potential was phenomenally high. Jordy, on the other hand, looks like he could be an actual player. Ricardo Mierda, interesting. Or Medina, very good player. Very, very good player. So we'll see what ends up happening with him. We bought him for piss cheap. We're getting a lot of people getting their debuts. Carlos Siebzer. Ooh, striker, right? Yes. A long way off of being good enough for us yet. But still nice to see that the youths that we have out on loan are getting their international starts now, as well as everything else. Getting us in some good form. Anyways, we'll do the Atletico Pampello fight. Or, well, I say fight. I mean, with the way we've been playing, kinda. Might be. Considering we've been fighting back into... We've been down in all of the games we played so far. But we'll go up against them. And we'll finish after that then. Nobody of any consequence within our scouting range. I love how City, much like us, have qualified for the Champions League as well, whereas nobody else in their league has qualified for any European Cup at all. A showcase that City are just dominating the display in the Premier League. Now, to be fair, we're 2 points. Not 2 points. We're 2 games ahead of Barca at the moment, but I think one of them was with a game in hand, wasn't it? We are interesting. A win and a draw ahead of them. We could have had an invincible season as well. Ooh! Ooh! Interesting. Interessante. Might as well get a good youth intake. That's beautiful. That's genuinely beautiful. This has to be cheating, by the way. It has to be cheating, giving an optional add-on of 3 years. I know they'll get pissy that they're not on good wages anyway. So, like, if they actually did turn out to be good, they'd end up being pissy arseholes that would end up whinging until they got a new contract anyway, causing morale issues within the entirety of the club. So it probably isn't that beneficial. But at the same point in time, it does seem like a bit of an easy hack, especially for these young players. Still, while we have the option, we might as well exploit it. My players never accept the option for 3 years extension. Well, in this particular case, they're getting quite a boost in their salary to accept it. I've never tried it before joining Real Madrid, so I haven't a goddamn clue whether or not this is a Spanish thing. But I'm happy that they're doing it. Ooh, Oscar's after getting his international cap as well. Beautiful. Albania with you, who I think you're not actually that good, Daniel. Oh no, Daniel is a potential weapon, potential unit. Why? You arsehole. I know he's the Croatian manager, but like, thank me. I'm the one who has you. You're my player, you goddamn asshole. You asshole. Ten Hag getting tanked by someone too. That's really funny. And then the first leg versus Liverpool will be a game when we end up coming back. Ooh, so the youth candidates almost won against the under-19s. That's interesting. Evaluated. Ooh, and then we have this here. Yeah, I need to go through all of this so we can see who I need to rob. So we have the world's #1 player, which is interesting. We have him out on loan. We have the world's #2 player. We have the world's #3 player. I'll have to scout you. Scout you. Okay, now we're getting to the point where we don't have them anymore. We have the world's #6, 7, 8. We don't have 9, yeah. Although he's Irish, so I definitely want to see how he is. Interesting. Holden. Ooh, okay. Well, we're giving you a scout, see how you are. Brim is ours, and Brim is a monster. He's directly into our team already, doing phenomenally well for us. He's a goddamn... He should be 1. Brim should be 1, without a shadow of a doubt. Brim should be 1. How we managed to locate Brim and get him so monstrously cheap, I don't understand at all. M. Kane. Interesting. Okay. Cool. 20. Scout him again. scout him again. Don't use them. It's good to scout all of these anyway in case I end up leaving. In case I end up leaving Madrid, and have them in the scouting network as potential pickups at a club that we go to if we adapt and go somewhere else. Yeah, João Pedro's ours. Oh, we don't have him on loan or anything. Okay, we might actually have to start using you more. Do that. It still is bizarre seeing the multiple names like 2 and 3 and like Real Madrid A, B, and C, and just counting as different as in this game's terminology as it technically being a different club you've played for. Like there's, I think Esposito at Barcelona only ever played for like prime Barcelona. I don't think he ever played for any of the loans. I could, and more than likely am, significantly wrong about that statement. Benny will be happy. There's an American on this list, 39 years of age, playing for New York City, New York. By the way, for any of you that do know that, and I don't know if any of you do know that, why is it New York, New York? Like, I know it's New York State and New York City, but like, is it known as New York, New York, or is it known as New York within New York? Because I don't know the lore. Oh, new Bruno Fernandes. Interesting. I don't know the lore behind that now. How that one ends up working. I know that's something I could just, and probably will, search up straight after this in order to get more of an idea about it. But it's just interesting to me. It's always been a bit curious to me, and I've just been lazy, as to why it's called New York in New York. Because I haven't heard anywhere else being called it. Like Washington D.C. isn't Washington D.C. Well, I think Washington D.C. is in Colorado, so it doesn't matter, does it? I guess no other city was vain enough to call themselves after the state. That might be just complete ignorance and foolishness by me not to know the answer to that, but I'll figure it out eventually, I suppose. Probably needs a new showcase after that. Cool. So we've signed one of the youth candidates. That's beautiful. Cool. Perfecto. Perfecto. And yeah, loads of stats that we don't need to know about. Kenneth Taylor winning one of the best players in the world awards. One of our players winning one of the best players in the world. That's interesting. And then you've Chris Jackson there for United, performing well at 19 years of age. And Joaquin, who is our player and a monster, although now is starting to lose his ability a bit. I can't recall him, so we'll see what ends up happening there when he comes back. Mark Hall, I don't think he's ours. No, he's Liverpool's. Reece McGrath, the whole lot there. Aberdeen's Keno. So this is being shown because I have him underneath them. But interesting. Oh, he's 30. Scouted someone that was 30. It's foolish. 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 Pleasure to have you back, Doc. You talking about New York Soccer Football Club or the city? The city we call it New York City or New York City. The football club we call it New York Red Bulls. No, in this particular case it was New York Red Bulls, but New York Red Bulls were NYCNY for some reason. Yeah, NYCFC, sorry. So yeah, New York City FC. With okay jerseys. But yeah, no, I've heard New York City be called New York, New York before. I was always semi-curious as to why it was called New York, New York. the city itself. But the New York Football Club I know remarkably little about. I just know they have one of the top 10 players in the world there. Okay, so I have little over 15 minutes left, so we should be able to get this game up and running and sound. Although, we have to go with this formation because Vinny is injured, which is annoying. So we're going to have to put someone there. I think we'll put Jude there. Ard there. Oscar there. Marco there. We'll put Foston here. Place Luca with Edmund. And then put Foston back on. We're going to go with our strongest back line, mainly just to get them ready. And we're going to go with the strongest here as well. Again, mainly to just get the... Well, actually, we're not because he's already tired and we have Liverpool next. So we're going to go with Sechi there, who is wrecked. Sechi is there. Bernard, we're going to take off as well because we don't actually care if Libe gets used, but we do want something. So Bernard and you off, so we'll put we won't put Hines on. We'll put Zerkri on. And yes, we want to have our main squad on there, so we'll actually go Ugarte and Brim instead. Now Ard is probably going to be playing, Bellingham might end up playing, but I think we go with this and we see how things go. I honestly forgot about that team. I know absolutely nothing about the Miles Lewis Skelly League. So I can't comment at all on any of the teams in the MLS, unfortunately, Matty. The Miles Lewis Skelly eludes me in terms of everyone that's in it. So, you know, that normally ends up getting Benny to pock up if he is actually still listening, so he's completely gone. But yeah. Anyways, we have our team put into play now. We're playing the last game of the night tonight because we do need to head off after this. So we'll continue this game. We'll see how things go. And I'm better than ever. Got a knack for making things better. And better than ever. I'm back and making things better. I love that song with a passion. With a passion. Eric Bischoff has a bloated ego many times beyond his years, but that is a gorgeous song. I don't, to be honest. The only thing I know about the Scottish League is Chelsea and Rangers being in it. Obviously, I know of Hearts and a couple of the other ones as well. But I watch remarkably little football, to be honest. Mainly the Premier League, and that's about it. I don't even watch the Irish League. Unfortunately, Matty. You watch the EPL, so yeah, not too bad. Is United the main team you support, or is there anyone else you support? Are you happy that you've reached 2 days, Duck? Has it been worth it? Has it been worth staying within the stream for 2 days? Ard Guller with the first goal. I hope that counts. Boo, hoo, y'all. But yeah, has it been worth cowling away 2 days of your existence, watching moi? And to be honest, it's more than that, and we know it's more than that because this wasn't working for the longest time. But how do you feel that you finally ended up hitting that? Yeah, it is incredibly painful following United. But hey, at least you can come in here and watch my Real Madrid side sometimes not play like complete fecal exchange, even with a complete dynamic change of the formation and moving Jude Bellingham over to the left-hand side. We managed to get a barn-cracklingly good goal, leading us to being 2-0 up versus Pamplona. And a beautiful exchange for us, keeps us in great veins, in great momentum for the next game, the first leg versus one and only Liverpool. A game that we will be going cautious in, by the way, because we will not be going to attacking against Liverpool, because they will slaughter us if we perform badly in terms of our passing exchanges. They're one of those teams, mainly because I built them. Still have an awful lot of players I built in them. But they'd end up getting absolutely... we'd get slaughtered by them if we weren't careful. Everything connects together for Mauricio Pochettino because of the players I ended up getting for them. It's the same thing as my Palace squad. Even my Palace squad, which has long since not had me in it anymore, is bonkersly strong as well. They're still in fairly good standings where they are. Ooh. Zarqui almost put it there. Do you pay attention to any of the academy football for United, Maddie, or do anything of that description? I follow Academy Scoop on Twitter or X, whatever the hell you want to call that app. He does phenomenal communications on elements that not just United, but United and many others end up doing for the academy. Shot and a half there by Bellingham. What was that, Oscar? You just rocketed that. What was that? By the way, I love when they have nothing. I love when they have zero shots and even on target in the whole lot. When it's 0-0 there, it's beautiful. A beautiful thing to see. But weird that Ben Diaz failed to do... God, what was that? Pass. 40. Zarqui, you have to do better than that. Oscar now. Too slow. To Ugarte. Ugarte lost it too easily. And then Oscar with a nice shot. I don't follow it much. I know a little bit from it, but paying attention to Twitter and FM. What was the person you follow on Twitter for called? Academy Scoop. He is United based. He's sometimes on one of the shows with Stretford End. I think that's the name of that podcast, or the name of that group. No, it's Stretford Pollock or something like that. He's sometimes on with them. I don't watch it, so I couldn't comment on it. But I enjoy the academy information that he ends up giving, and he's fairly good when he ends up doing it. He's young enough and started getting into the journalistic capabilities there. I always recommend those type of accounts. And he's very good. He's very, very good. Academy Scoop. He does have a real name account as well, but I don't know it. I follow it, but I just don't know it off the top of my head because I very rarely see clips from it. Because I have the two Twitter accounts now, my Crack Attack Central one and my main one. You better not have injured him. And I'm mainly on my Crack Attack Central one. I very rarely see some of the old school areas that I followed back in the day that are useful. We're going to make some changes, one of them specifically being Bellingham. By the way, we're 68 minutes into this game. They have yet to have a shot on us. We'll put Evandro there. I don't care about Oscar. I do care about Ard, so we'll put Edmund on there. Foston, we do kind of care about him. So we'll put Laffy there. Oscar's somewhat injured, so we'll end up replacing him. Okay, fine. Then we'll go Gale. We'll put Laffy up there. Oscar there. And That'll do. That'll do. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. So we'll go with that. Happy out. I'm happy to. They're playing near me, Stretford Paddock do. Happy out. I mean, I have nothing good nor bad to say about anyone on the Stretford Paddock. I don't follow it enough to give any comments on anything about it. A couple of the points I've heard from them have been absolute horse manure, but like everyone has that. But the main lad who looks like me if I had style, has a good voice. God, Marco played crap today. 6.4. Didn't notice that, otherwise I would have taken him off. 2-0 is not a bad result, but that was a bad performance by us. They actually got a shot off. I'm disappointed in myself. They actually got a shot off. I give you the praise anyway, even though you don't deserve it because they got a shot. I don't care that the shot was off target. They got a shot. Not good enough. But with that being said, we've done 3 matches today. 3 matches in 2 hours isn't bad for me. But we've done 3 matches today. The next day, we will be doing the Liverpool game. I will go through... Well... Yeah. I'll go through this stuff here before the Real Madrid game, or the Liverpool game ends up coming up, and we'll start straight into the Liverpool game the next time I go live with FM, whenever that might be. As things stand, I should, being the big term, should still, I should be active tomorrow. But time will tell. I have a couple things planned. I have to go into the gym after work, and it'll depend on my tiredness and my overall energy. But for now, that has been me. And I thank each and every one of you for coming in and joining us. So, with that being the case, let's see who we send people off to. I think for the crack, we'll send some people off to watch a bit of Crusader Kings and have a bit of fun that way. One of the trio that I in love end up communicating with, they end up doing a good bit of information there, is the wise Phoenix person herself, Izzy. So I'll send you over to Izzy. Turn around and just say crack addicts attacked or something of the same vein. Phenomenal streamer. Please give them a follow when you're over there as well, should you feel so inclined after hearing their introduction and the whole lot. But for me, I thank you again for coming in. It was an absolute pleasure and a half. I have been the stupid wrong one. I have been the stupid sexy crack. And although I spoiled the end of my joke, I'll do it again. Make sure your crack is 90. And as always, poke my home, my friends. Shlanga fall, mash the helle.